Hey everyone, I wanted to quickly go over the assignment from yesterday. I wanted to go over the answers. Um, so I want to point out real quick that all the vocab words you filled in, there is a slideshow with definitions and pictures if you want to go through and check that you have complete definitions. What I'm going to do in this screencast is go over the actual questions. So for this first task, you are asked to fill in the haploid and diploid numbers of each of these organisms. These are actually the real numbers. This is a lot easier than students think. It's kind of like algebra. You have n and then 2n. 2n is just double whatever n is. You can think of this 2 like a coefficient. So the names actually match really well. Haploid is half, diploid is double. Okay? So you were given that an amoeba, their haploid number is 25. Their diploid number is just double that, 2n. So if n is 25, then 2n is 50. It's double. A chimp has a haploid number of 24. Their diploid number is 48. An earthworm has 18 pairs of chromosomes for a total of 36. A fern has 1,010 total chromosomes arranged in 505 pairs. Okay. Haploid number is 22 for a hamster. Diploid number is 44. For a human, our haploid number is 23, but our total number of chromosomes is 46. Okay. So 23 is haploid, 46 is diploid. If you looked inside a human cell, a standard human cell, you looked at a skin cell or a cheek cell and counted all the chromosomes, there would be 46 total chromosomes. But you can arrange them into homologous pairs, right? There are 2 copies of chromosome 1, 2 copies of chromosome 2, 2 copies of chromosome 18, 2 copies of chromosome 23. So you get a total of 46, okay? Next question, true or false? The more complex an organism is, the more chromosomes it has. That is false. I mean, just look at the fern. The fern is a plant. It's a leaf. Okay, and it has over 1,000 chromosomes. So it is a common misconception that the more chromosomes an organism has, the more complex it is. I mean, even look at the amoeba. An amoeba is a single-celled organism and it has 50, which is more than a human cell. So just something to keep in mind, okay? Next one, most sexually reproducing organisms are diploid because they receive 2 copies of each chromosome, 1 copy from their mother and 1 copy from their father. This is true. Your standard human cell is going to be diploid. It's going to have 2 copies of each chromosome, right? 23 homologous pairs. And of each pair, you get 1 from your mother, 1 from your father. Think of it like socks. Imagine you have 23 pairs of socks, but you got them separately. Your mother gave you 1 half of the pair, your father gave you the other half of the pair, right? They match, but you got them from 2 different locations. Okay, so you have a total of 46 socks, but 23 pairs of socks. Half of your collection of socks came from your mom, half came from your dad. Okay, so of that 1 pair of matching socks, you get 1 maternally, 1 paternally, 1 from your mom, 1 from your dad. Okay, so that's what diploid means. If you are a haploid organism, you'd only have 23 socks and none of them would have a matching pair. They'd all be different. They'd have different genes on them, different prints or designs. Okay, so if you ever get mixed up with the terms diploid and haploid, think of socks. Okay, think of pairs of socks or shoes or whatever, right? Diploid, you have both shoes to make the pair, the left and the right. Your left shoe maybe you got from your mom, your right shoe you got from your dad. And you have 23 pairs of shoes or 23 pairs of socks for a total of 46 shoes or socks. Okay, think of it that way. So moving along, this image right here is called a karyotype. It is it's taken under a microscope. What happens is the DNA is extracted from a cell during interphase or metaphase. The reason being, the chromosomes have to be condensed, right? If it's done during interphase, the DNA is still in that chromatin form. It has to be condensed. So it has to happen during prophase or metaphase. So these chromosomes you're looking at are arranged in their homologous pair. So this is a chromosome, and then this is the other matching chromosome. They're not connected. These aren't sister chromatids connected at the centromere, right? This is one chromosome, and this is the homologous pair. So maybe this one came from mom, this one came from dad. Like this is the left sock, this is the right sock. This is a different pair of socks, the left sock, the right sock. Okay. So this is called a karyotype. It's a picture of chromosomes, all of the chromosomes from your cell. So this is your entire genome. All 3 billion letters of your DNA are spread out along these chromosomes. Is this organism haploid or diploid? This organism is diploid because it has both, both the left and the right shoe. Both of chromosome number 1 are there. Both copies of chromosome 2 are there. Both copies of chromosome 3 are there. If this was haploid, then you'd only have one copy of chromosome 1, one copy of chromosome 2. You'd be missing the other side, right? You'd only have all left shoes, or you'd only have all right shoes. You wouldn't have the pair, okay? How many autosomes does this organism have? So autosomes are all of the chromosomes except for the sex chromosomes. So there are a total of 44 autosomes. This right here is the sex chromosomes, okay? Humans have 2. You either have 2 X chromosomes or an X and a Y. I'm just going to pull up, this would be a male because they have an X and a Y. They're not actually shaped like an X and a Y. It just has that notation. The Y is the chromosome that makes somebody a male. It has the genes on it to produce testosterone and all of the male sex organs, okay? So everyone has an X. Both males and females have X's, but only males have a Y, okay? Oops. Okay, so could these chromosomes have come from a human? Yes, because there are 46 total chromosomes, right? 44 autosomes and then 2 sex chromosomes. If these are human chromosomes, which we can't assume it's human. There are other organisms with 46 chromosomes. I actually don't know any. I'm going to look it up real quick. A sable antelope. What else do we got? I've never actually looked this up. Sable antelope, human. This little shrimp thing. This little deer thing. So yeah, we can, this could be from a human, but it could also be from a sable antelope, right? But if this was human, you can determine the sex by looking at the sex chromosomes. Because there are 2 X's, we know that this is female. If there was an X and a Y, it would be male. Okay, next karyotype. So this one looks a little bit different. This organism is also diploid, right? They have both, both of the set. There's 2 copies of chromosome 1, 2 copies of chromosome 2. They have both shoes to make the pair. I know that, you know, it's a confusing topic, a confusing concept, but diploid is when they have both copies of chromosome 1, one from mom, one from dad. Okay, if this was haploid, again, you'd only have this one on the left. You wouldn't have the pair here. Now this one looks different. If you look at this karyotype versus this karyotype, the difference is that these have been duplicated. So these chromosomes underwent S phase of interphase. They got duplicated through the process of DNA replication. Remember helicase and DNA polymerase, adding the nucleotides, that whole process that we learned at the beginning of remote learning. So these chromosomes have been duplicated, so they have their sister chromatid. Here, we can't see that these have been duplicated. It's only one chromatid, okay? But this is still one chromosome, one chromosome, one chromosome, one chromosome. Remember that, okay? Last picture. Imagine the chromosome shown is chromosome 7 in dogs. Would chromosome number 8 also have genes for fur color and fur texture? So this chromosome is chromosome number 7 in dogs. And on this chromosome, you'll find the gene for fur color and for fur texture. On chromosome number 8, you would find different genes, okay? The gene for fur color is only found right here on chromosome number 7. Chromosome number 8 might have genes for eye color and size. Chromosome number 9 would have genes for maybe behavior and ear size. I don't know, okay? So all of the chromosomes in a dog contain a unique gene, but every chromosome 7 in every dog is going to have these two genes. They might have different alleles, different versions of that gene, right? The gene for fur texture, this one might be curly, this one might be straight, but it's still the gene for fur texture, just different alleles, okay? Explain how this dog has 2 alleles for one gene. So this gene right here, the gene for fur color, it has 2 alleles, 2 versions. They have one yellow fur allele and one brown fur allele. I didn't actually label which one's which, but they got one allele from their mother and a different allele from their father. And that's genetics, right? Your parents pass on their genes, but they give you a version of the gene that they have. If this dog had brown fur and this dog had yellow fur, then that's what they're going to pass on, okay? What makes the 2 chromosomes shown in the center homologous? They have the same genes at the same location. It doesn't matter if the alleles are the same, they have the same gene at the same location, okay? If chromosome number 8 is not homologous to chromosome number 7, okay? It would have different genes. And then before meiosis can begin, chromosomes must duplicate. Each chromosome gets its sister chromatid. At the beginning of mitosis, oh, I should say meiosis. Oops. I have to make sure I change that. Join together, or synapse. Explain why the resulting structure is called a tetrad. So this structure right here, when these 2 homologous pairs, like this is a homologous pair. This is a chromosome, a duplicated chromosome. This is a duplicated chromosome. This homologous pair joins together during meiosis at the very beginning in a process called synapsis. They synapse right here, and the resulting structure is called a tetrad. It's called a tetrad because the root word tetra means 4, and there are 4 total sister chromatids, okay? So this should say meiosis. All right, sorry about that. So that is it for the questions from yesterday. Please make sure you check your work and go through this. Make sure you understand all of these vocab words before moving on to the next lesson, which is learning the steps of meiosis. All right, take care.